Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining me. Part 1 Rapture, the bride's last call, Doug's letter and dream. We are on the brink, we are on the threshold of what will be the biggest event that has ever taken place in the history of the world. The moment that those of you that are watching this right now have been patiently awaiting and longing for the rapture of the church. But I'm deeply concerned for the church today because as I look around, I see very few wise virgins whose lamps are full and they have plenty of oil. But I see multitudes upon multitudes of foolish virgins who believe that they are truly ready. Yet where are your priorities? I see a boastful bride. I see a selfish bride. I see a bride that likes to gossip. I see a bride that is caught up in the things of this world. I see a bride that is spending all of her energy and her time and is consumed with the things that will take place once the church is removed. Totally consumed with the last 3.5 years, the great tribulation, consumed with the Antichrist. Many proclaiming themselves to be the bride have proclaimed that they know right now who the biblical Antichrist is, that he has been revealed. Things that will take place after the church is gone. I want you to understand one thing. We are still here. The Holy Spirit is with us. When the Antichrist comes on the world stage, when all these terrible cataclysmic events that we see in the book of Matthew 24:14 on, take place, the church will no longer be here. Once the Antichrist is known to the world, once there is a covenant made, once we see the things like the mark of the beast, the church will be removed. The Holy Spirit will be gone. The restrainer. The Holy Spirit cannot live in that type and cannot remain in that type of sin. But that's where the church's focus is today, rather than where it should be. I'm going to present to you now the letter that Brother Doug, had sent to me. This message was shared at a live broadcast over at Tiny Chat, and the enemy threw everything. Satan threw everything he could at us to stop this message from getting out. Each and every person in that room, including myself, every person in the chat room, we prayed, and we prayed and we rebuked these demons. Brother Doug would come up on the monitor, and there'd be no sound. I was losing connection. Everyone in the room was losing connection. We had to reboot. Brother Doug would disappear. Then he would come back, and no one could hear him. There was no audible sound. And then he would have to reboot and come back again. Finally, after we prayed like we never prayed before in that room, in that chat room, and we rebuked these demons in Yeshua's name, Doug was able to get this message out and share his dream. Church, time's running out. We are on the brink of the biggest event in the history of the world, and that is the rapture of the church. Let me, without further ado, present Doug's letter and share his dream. And I ask that you share this with everyone you know. Let's go to Doug's letter. This is part 1, and I will, as I'm led by the Holy Spirit, I don't know how many parts this will be, but it's very important. And this is what Doug has written to me. Pastor Dave, this is perhaps the most important letter I have ever written to you. Please read this whole thing in its entirety. Please take your time with this. It is that important. I believe that This is the last call to the bride. It came to me in a dream with only two words given to me. Mark 2:19. Nothing else. Just that. Please read all of this, and if you find it in your heart to share this, please share. And I'm going to share this right now with each and every one of you. This is the letter. Hello, Pastor Dave. We talked about this. Mark 2:19 in the past. I spoke about this in the Thief in the Night series and Matthew 24, but have not expounded on the subject of the fasting and the restrainer and the children. Very important, the children, and just who these children are. Yet I still hear many people teach that Matthew 24 is a chapter devoted to the rapture of the church, and it clearly is not. This letter is not devoted to Matthew 24. Matthew 24 just happened to become my thoughts during the study of Mark 2:19. But first, I am going to go over a little about Matthew 24 so I can lead up to what Mark 2:19 is all about. We spoke about Matthew 24, verses 1 through 13. It is all about the timing up until the great tribulation, the last half of the tribulation. When I was on your series on YouTube, The Thief in the Night, and brothers and sisters, I urge you to go on YouTube, and it was from, I believe, February of 2012, and type in Thief in the Night and watch that series. Now, let me continue. When I was on your YouTube series on The Thief in the Night, we spoke about this, yet many still do not get it. I am still hearing many people quote things out of Matthew 24 in the comment section, and the many out there teaching prophecy about the pre-tribulation and Matthew that have nothing to do with the rapture of the church. This is my concern, and it has been my concern as well. The great tribulation is the final 42 months and has nothing to do with 42 months. It is Matthew 24:14 to the end of the chapter. This is all about the great tribulation and has nothing to do with the events leading up to the rapture of the church. Yet many are all over this chapter in every verse, picking pieces backwards, forwards, and out of context, proclaiming it is about things that occur up to and during the tribulation. The during part has bearing, but the first half of the trib has absolutely no bearing on these verses after Matthew 24:14. And that's what I see today. I see God-fearing, born-again Christians that are just totally obsessed and consumed with the events that will take place once the church is gone. You know, if I did not know better, if I did not know that you truly believed you were the bride and you were waiting for the bridegroom to break the sky just by watching, and where your interest is and where you're spending your energy today, I would swear that you were post-trib. But knowing better, I'm deeply concerned because the church's whole focus is on the mark of the beast, the apocalypse, the second coming, the events that will take place once the church has been removed. Stay tuned as we continue in part two with Doug's letter and Doug's dream. Rapture, this is the bride's last call. Please open your heart, go to your Father in heaven, and pray for discernment. Share this video. I'll see you in a few moments.